Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Can we bring the mic down just a little bit? Yeah. So before I begin any of my talks, Danny and Cameron and Megan, they were saying that I do go by Mr. Peace. That's a lot of people call me. And I just like to let those know that I'm speaking to. Let you all know that every breath that I take today is going to be worth your time. I keep the passion burning in me alive, overcoming any and all of the hate, and look close, see the fire in my eyes, sparking the brains of the youth of a nation, always doing more to even the score, fighting for a cause I'm willing to die for, so just do whatever you do with love, cause you'll rise above, one day they're gonna thank you, yeah, something like that. So, this talk today is going to be one of passion, and it's going to be about passion. And when I just spoke those few lyrics to you just now, one of them was that, you know, it's something that I'm willing to die for, that I found something in my life. I found something in my life right now that I'm willing to lose sleep over, that I wake up early in the morning because I'm so on fire for it. And I'm so alive when I'm doing it. And that's my hope for all of you, is that one day you reach that point in your life, that you have that same fire in your belly and you're doing that thing that makes you come alive. Something that you'd be willing to die for even, right? At the end of my voicemail, when you call me up, I'm like, hey, it's Mr. Peace, what's going on? What's good? Leave your name, number, a brief message. And at the end of your voicemail, tell me something that you're passionate about. Tell me something that you're passionate about. And I get some pretty cool voicemails. You know, people are passionate about cooking and their family and their friends. My passions are hip-hop, diversity, and people like yourself. My heart bleeds for all of you, for the youth. What are some of your passions? I know I've seen some on the walls as I was walking in, talking about your dreams, but you can just kind of, shout them out. Sports. Cool. What was that? What did someone say over there? What was yours? Magic, right? All right, pound. Good. All right, what was yours? Your family. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, up here. Music? All right, I like it. Cool. So, oftentimes I ask people, you know, what makes you put on your seatbelt when you get into a car? Like, what's your motivation behind it? And obviously, you probably don't want to die in a car accident. You've heard the stories, people like they go through the windshield because they weren't buckled right. But even more than that, it's kind of like, for myself, I'm putting my seatbelt on now because I got so many great things in my life. And I want to live it to the fullest for as long as I can. And so it's like I'm going to take extra precautions to make sure that I can do that, right? And be safe about it. It's something you can think about. But see, like for a long time in my life, I wasn't like fully alive. I wasn't fully passionate. I let other things and other people get in my way. I remember driving this one time, right? And this guy, I'm going like 45, and the speed limit's 45, I'm going down this road, and this guy passes me on the left, passes me like without care, tells me that I'm number one and everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, wait, no, you did not just pass me. You did not just pass me. So I speed up, start going like 65, whatever, I'm like, passing it back. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Booyah, grandma. I go, and I turn it off, boom. A whole family of deer. And so I like swerve real quick, and like I pull over, my heart's like pumping out of my chest, and I'm just like, catching my breath, and I pull over to the side of the road. And then he passes me again. This time tells me I'm number 11, whatever that means. But anyways, I just like got to catch my breath. I'm like, whoa. I almost just hit this whole family of deer, almost crashed. So I'm sitting there, I'm sitting on my car, and all of a sudden, right next to me on the window, I hear this tap. And I look over, and it's one of those deer. And he's like, with his hoof like this, and he's like, yo, roll down the window. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what's going on here, man? And he's like, yeah, he's like, little hoof. He's like, can you roll it down for a second? And I'm like, okay. So I roll it down. And he's like, hey, Mr. Peace. I'm like, how'd you know my name? He's like, it says it on your license plate. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait, you can talk? And he's like, hey, that's not important. He's like, oh. He's like, hey, Mr. Peace, did you just see like what happened? Did you just see what happened? I said, yeah, man. This guy wrongly passed me, you know, and I wanted to pass him back. And look, I almost crashed my car. He's like, no. You almost just killed my entire family. Because you were so concerned about one-upping somebody else. About being better than this person. Whether it comes to driving, or the bigger house, the bigger car, whatever it is in your life, the higher test score. I mean, that's how I used to always compare myself to other people. And Facebook doesn't help. Because like, I think it was a week ago, my rankings dropped for #1 person you want to be stuck on a desert island with. It dropped like 10 points. And I was mad. But you know, when you really think about it, I mean, why should I be? You know, it's like, we're always comparing ourselves, and a lot of times, that's when we're not at our fullest, that we're not giving as much as we can of ourselves. I think back to when I was your age, right? And I'm like a skinnier build. I mean, this is pure steel, but I'm a skinnier build. And I remember that there was always that temptation to do steroids, because there was guys in my high school doing them. And I remember going back and forth about that, because I kept getting, you know, like teased and picked on because I was like really skinny and stuff, you know. And so that comparison was there for me. And back in middle school, they called me sweatpants boy. Because all I wore every day was sweatpants. Like all through elementary, I had a different pair for every day of the week, man. Because I just wanted to be comfortable, you know, sweatpants. And then I started hearing sweatpants boy in 6th grade, and I stopped wearing sweatpants. I converted to jeans. And I did that for a long time until finally, I said, you know what? I'm going back to sweatpants and basketball shorts. And that's pretty much all I wear. So I love that. I love that fact. But the part that really hurt me back in high school too, when I think about it, you know, I was like that chameleon. Like I was really popular, you know, like I was very well liked and everything by all my peers. But I changed who I was around different groups that I was around. I was like that chameleon, you know, that I just had to fit in. Like being accepted was more important than standing up for who I was and what I believed in. And I remember a couple times where I denied my faith. Like something that's the core of who you are, right? I denied my faith around different groups that I was around just so I could fit in. And looking back, that hurts me. Just thinking about that. So, you know, sometimes we're comparing ourselves to others, and that holds us back. And other times, because in our minds, sometimes we have these like preconceived assumptions about other people and how they are, like a certain group, a certain race, a certain color, a certain size, whatever it is. Sometimes those are like a roadblock too, from living your passion to the fullest. How many of you guys like basketball? Anybody like basketball here? Okay. I love basketball. It's like my passion. One of my passions, right? Basketball. Yeah. Put your hands up again. Okay, right there in the stash. All right, so check it. I was playing basketball a couple weeks back, and I'm in a league out in Canton, Michigan, at high velocity. And is everybody from Canton around here? Canton. Okay, I was gonna be like, yeah, what? Okay, all right. That's okay. No one's here. That's all right. So before every game, right? I have a peace tea. And that's where I get a lot of my peace energies from drinking these. But I have a peace tea before every game, right? Okay? And game's about to start, and I'm looking around my bag, and I can't find my peace team, right? So, I have like a spider sense for like peace tea in general, but out of my peripheral, I see this guy with a basketball and a peace tea in his hand. And I look over at him, I'm like, no. Is that my peace tea? And you know, yeah, you're thinking to yourself, okay, they probably make, you know, hundreds, thousands of these peace tea containers, and da-da-da-da. But look, I know my peace teas, you know, like I have a special bond when I make the purchase at Speedway. And so the individual cracked open his peace tea. Yeah, just like that. And he took a big swig and kind of got over his mustache a little bit, but he took a big swig. And I looked in horror. Yeah, he coughed a little bit because he saw me looking. And so I walk over to him. I walk over to the individual, to the gentleman. I walk over to him. I say, hey man, how's it going? Getting ready for your game? Yeah, cool. Give me that peace tea. Right? So I drank the rest of it. We lost. And I contributed that to that sip that he took. I did not have my full 23 ounces before the game. So I get back home, going through my stuff, going through my bag, throwing stuff in the laundry. And what do I find that slipped through my bag but my peace tea? So, needless to say, I felt terrible. And the following week, I went up to the guy and I said, hey, here's your peace tea back. I even kept it like just as it was for like a whole week. I kept it the same way. And I said, here man, and I gave him like 7 other flavors of peace tea because they got like about 7 right now. But point being is that so many times, unless you walk in somebody else's shoes, unless you make the extra effort to understand that person, you're going to still walk around with some of these assumptions, that closed-mindedness that can kind of get in our way. Like this example here, right? I had a friend, his name was Kishan. And he told me this story. He's from India. He told me this story when he was watching this movie one time. And he remembers this one scene where this shopkeeper and this other townsman are fighting against each other, you know? There's this huge war going on. And they got knives, they're like, at each other's throats. And so what he does, what happens is this other shopkeeper comes out, right? These two guys are pretty much just ready to kill themselves. To like, just kill each other. So he takes both their hands, this other shopkeeper, takes one of them like that, takes the other one, takes one of their knives, slices one of their hands, slices the other hand, puts them together, takes them apart. And then he says, if you can tell me whose blood is whose, then keep fighting. And immediately they put down their weapons. It was a real powerful moment in the movie. And the more I think about it, you know, if you turn all these lights off, and no light coming in, you know, we're all one color. And so many times though we don't get to see what's inside somebody. What's inside somebody. There was this professor, he was with his students at this one college, right? He invites them over to talk about some of the issues that they're having in class, and he makes some hot chocolate for them, right? If it was me, I'd probably have some peace tea for you guys, but anyways, he's got some hot chocolate, and he puts all these cups out, like the real expensive ones, like real expensive china, real exquisite, and he's got some ones that are kind of like average, some that like aren't like the best looking, some glass, some porcelain, some just plain ceramic and plastic, and asked them, help yourself to some hot chocolate. So they took all the real nice cups, and they left the other ones that were just kind of average. They just left them behind. And he made them aware of that. They chose to do that. And he tells them this. And they started kind of realizing that it's the hot chocolate compared to life, and compared to the life inside each one of us. That, does the person or persons, do they gotta fit like a certain standard in our hearts, in our minds, for us to take a little extra time to see who they are inside? You guys are how old now? Sophomores in high school, pretty much, most of you? 16? 16, 17, 15, okay, right around there. You guys remember, it was back in 03 or 04, there was a huge blackout in the eastern U.S. I think some of you remember that? Okay. Yeah. I was in a deli, I was working at a deli, and I was inside the fridge when it happened. And all the lights went off, and I was like, oh my gosh, try it. And, I remember cell phones wouldn't work, all that stuff. The only thing open was this one Wendy's 20 miles away, so I went there to get some Wendy's and a Frosty and all that. But that's besides the point. I had a buddy that was living in Harlem, over by New York at the time, when this blackout occurred. And his observation, and what he wrote the New York Times about the following day, is that what he noticed is that when the lights went out, it didn't matter what background anybody was. Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Cambodians, African Americans, Koreans, Chinese, Caucasians. Everyone came together to support each other in this time of crisis. But you know what? As soon as the lights went back on, it's so did the racism, so did the prejudice, so did the stereotypes. And for me, it always begs the question of, why can't it always be like that? Why does it gotta take a tsunami, or an earthquake, or a hurricane, or a tornado for us to come together and work together? Why can't it always be like that without having that happen? This is a quick demographic breakdown. So if you were to reduce the world's population to a city of exactly 100 people, a little bit, probably 40 less than here, 40, 50 less than everyone sitting here. If you reduced it to 100 people with all existing human ratios staying exactly the same, the breakdown would look something like this. 60 Asians, 14 Africans, 12 Europeans, 8 Latin Americans, and only 5 Americans and Canadians. 49 would be female, 51 would be male. 82 would be non-white, 18 white. 89 heterosexual, 11 homosexual. 33 would be Christian, 67 would be non-Christian. Out of these 100 people, 5 would control 32% of the entire world's wealth, and all of them would be citizens of the US. 80 would be living in substandard housing. 24 would not have electricity. 67 would be unable to read. 7 would have access to the internet. 50 would be malnourished, and 1 dying of starvation. 33 would be without access to a safe water supply. 1 would have HIV. 1 would be near death, and only one, would have a college education. So, first time I heard these statistics, this is back from I think 07 or 08, it hasn't changed much in a couple of years. First time I heard it, it blew my mind. And it got me thinking, how so many times, our closed minds, they shield us from so many amazing people. And so many times these unfounded assumptions that we have about one another, that's all that they are, is that they are unfounded. So, what I've seen, the epiphany that I had about how we can start to fully step into this passion for our life, for music, for magic, for all these things that you guys mentioned, all these dreams. Because you need other people to accomplish these dreams. The epiphany that I had came in a dream. How many of you guys dream? Yeah? Anybody got Harry Potter in their dreams? Justin Bieber? Don't lie. I knew about Justin too. So, I had a dream, and it was kind of crazy. But I'm gonna try to explain it to you, okay? So I bought this cow in my dream, and a Toyota Prius. And I bought them, and I was with my friend. Not sure what's so funny, but that's okay. One of my dreams, okay, that's good. So I had the Toyota Prius and the cow, and I decided to let my friend drive the Toyota Prius home, and I was going to just take the cow. But I put it in a box. Put the cow in a box, put it on my shoulders, and I started walking, right? And I was walking through these fields, these rolling fields, these rolling meadows, with this cow on my shoulders. And I hear in the distance these hooligans rolling down the hill in these barrels, rolling down the hill in these barrels. It was kind of hilly. And I start hearing it more and more, kind of like that patter you guys were doing earlier, the rain. It kind of gets louder and louder. Yep. And so they're coming right towards me and my cow. They're coming right towards me. So it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. They're coming down the hill, right? So I drop my cow, and I dodge out of the way just in time. Well, one of the barrels, one of the kids goes right through my box and right through my cow. And I'm just like, God, kids, get out of here. And then I'm like, so I rush over to my cow, and I kneel down beside her. And I see all these tubes outside of her stomachs and everything, because she's not like a normal cow, she's like an avatar cow. And she's got, in the movie, when he's bonding with that animal, and that's what I was like with this guy, with this girl. And so it's down there, and the cow looks at me. The cow looks at me, and she says, "Fix me, fix me." And all these tubes are everywhere, right? All these tubes are everywhere. And my response back, and I won't forget this, but my response back was, I don't have time. I don't have time. And I woke up. And the next day at Subway is when it really hit me. I like to eat fresh. Went to Subway, and I was tired as heck. I just got done with class, got done with work that day. I was really beat. I go into Subway, get my usual cold cut trio, Italian herb and cheese, provolone, lettuce, pickles, yellow peppers, chipotle, boom. Now, so I go in there, and I start telling the guy, I'm like, yeah, just give me that, man. Just give me that. Just give me the foot long, cold cut. He's like, okay, hey man, I'm like, are you okay? He's like, everything cool, I'm just like, yeah man, just give me some of those pickles, give me some of the lettuce, and the chipotle. And he's like, are you okay? He's like, everything good with you? I said, yeah, man, no. Actually, no cookies today. No cookies. And then I just kind of woke up and I realized that this guy, the Subway guy, was just trying to take a couple seconds out of his day to see if I was all right. To take the time to care about me. The time that I didn't have to fix, we'll call her Matilda. And the next day at Caribou Coffee, I'm getting my coffee, Caribou style. And I get my coffee, And I ring it up, I'm like, hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, I appreciate it. And the cashier, she said, oh, no, don't thank me. I'm not even here really. Don't even worry about it. And I just stopped. I said, wait, no, you're here. Like, I see you. And you are somebody. So thank you. And it's, it was just kind of beautiful how that happened. A couple months back, I was at the OG. That's the Olive Garden. I was at the OG. And that's right. That's what we call it, man. I'm sorry, man. Just try to be real with you all. And what I noticed, right, at the OG that day, is that it's kind of close to like a bus station. I was in Ann Arbor. There's this bus station. And out of the corner of my eye again, I was just about to pull out. But I saw this person sitting by the bus station with a bag next to him. So I could tell he was homeless. And his head was down. And he's holding up this sign. Need human kindness. Need human kindness. Would you mind holding that up for me? Just like, keeping it like that. That'd be great. What's your name? Connor. So, what I saw develop, right, as I pulled back into my spot, what I saw develop is that people, as soon as they caught a glimpse of Connor, but this guy's name was Jared. So we're going to call you Jared right now. As soon as they saw Jared, even though they were already on this side of the sidewalk and the bus station is right there next to your dreams, they were going out of their way to like avoid any potential interaction with this human being. Like as soon as they saw him, they'd be like, okay, we're going to go this way. And then they almost like walk across the street, even though the bus station's right there, and then kind of come back around like this, hoping that he wasn't going to see him or something. And then finally make it to their destination. And some people, they got on, like they put the iPhones on, or the headphones, right? They took like a fake call from their mom. They're like, hey mom, I know you're not on the phone right now, but I just gotta talk to somebody because there's a guy, I don't really want to start a conversation. Okay, thanks, bye. And I saw this happen, right? For a couple minutes. So I finally got out of my car, and I approached him. And I sat down next to Connor, next to Jared. And the first thing that I told him was that I see you. I see you as a human being. I see you as equal. I see you. And we talked for like about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, just on the concrete there. We're just sitting on the concrete. And I gave my leftovers. But what happened there in that time is that for as much as I empowered him, as much as I encouraged him to get back onto his feet, it's like for as much as I gave, I received that much more. And it didn't take a lot of time. You see, and still it pains me to see a homeless body by the bus station. People going out their way to avoid a situation or any interaction with this human in need, when need human kindness is all that his sign reads. Still some people keep passing by, some zig and some zag, not wanting to have to talk to the man dressed in the rags. But his head's down in shame, sitting by his plaid bag. The words on his poster are a prayer for someone to lend a hand. So I approach him, because my heart drips, yeah, it bleeds. For those less fortunate, our fellow human beings. You see, some people more than anything just want to be seen. Especially the dirty and the shunned of this society. But if you can't spare any change for a beggar in the streets, then at least encourage them to get back onto their feet and listen to their story, the sweetened song that they speak. For as much as you give, the more you shall receive, yea, with so much pain. Thank you. I knew this other story. This teacher, he was in college. It was a community college in Detroit. Class is about to begin. He's got 65 students. 65. He decides to dress up like a person in need. He gets like his clothes on, they're all like torn up and everything. Has like the crutches, the whole 9 yards, just really all decked out. He sits down a couple blocks away from where the class is going to be held that day. And as his students begin to arrive, all 65 of them, as they begin to arrive, 60 out of 65 paid no attention to him. Some went as far as to say, you're a bum, you're a disgrace, get lost, get a job, we have class here today, get out of here. Only 5 showed some type of compassion, where they gave him like a donut, some spare change if they had it, said, hey, I'm going to pray for you. Only 5. So he gets up after class starts, and he walks into the classroom, still dressed how he is. You can start to imagine what some of the people were feeling, the ones that didn't pay any attention. Some of the adjectives that come to mind: guilt, shame, embarrassment. So again, all these things, they don't take a lot of time, but they can really mean the world to somebody. Because I kicked it with a bunch of homeless people, just go on the streets, buy them some pizza, whatever, Detroit, Ann Arbor. And the one thing they keep telling me, like, hey, Mr. Peace, thanks for the food, thanks for the money, but more importantly, thanks for just showing that you care, that you took the time to care. That's what means the most to them. I think about this story, this kid named Shay. Him and his dad were walking home one day from school. And Shay had a disability. He was kind of handicapped when he walked. That's the way he was born. And they're walking home from school, and these kids are playing softball in the distance. And so he said, hey, Dad, can I play? Can I go play with these guys? And his dad's like, yeah, go ahead, man. But in his mind, he's saying, no, they're not going to let him play because, Shay's not an asset to the team, if you want to call it that. So he gets to the field, and he says, hey, guys, can I play? And it's like the 9th inning, game's tied, and everyone's like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think we can really take you on right now. Maybe next game or something, or maybe next time. One kid stood up, said he's on my team. And so Shay got to go on their team, and they lost the game. But you can't even begin to imagine how much of an impact it had on his life. That one moment. He died next summer. And you just don't know when just one action, your action, your words, whatever it is, could have that type of an impact in someone's life. Because here's the deal, if you risk embarrassment, and you risk judgment, and you risk getting made fun of, and you put yourself on the line, just to include somebody else into this world, somebody else that otherwise would not be included, if you do that, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because a lot of people that are homeless, people that are in prison, common thing that I've seen among them is that they lack something all of us got. That's hope. And if you can provide that piece of hope for that one day, that's awesome. That's awesome. Take it a step further. I've heard numerous stories. Kids that are borderline suicidal. And somebody just picking up a stack of books when they got knocked out of his hand is what saved their life. Kid that was taking his books home on a Friday night, cleaned out his locker so his mom wouldn't have to. Got jumped by some bullies, books knocked out of his hand. Somebody ran from across the street, picked up his books, and it saved a life. I've heard things about people just smiling at somebody, that saved a life. So you never know what type of impact you're going to be, what type of impact you're going to have. My speaking mentor, he's been speaking since like 1980 or so. He's told me this one story. It was in the early 90s. He was speaking at a school in Detroit, at a high school, right? And after his talk, these kids come up to him, start talking about a lot of the pain they're going through in their life, a lot of the emotions that they're going through. This one kid in particular stayed for like 2 hours, just unloaded, all this stuff going on in his life. 5 years later, he sees him on TV. His first name was Martian. It was Eminem. And I think, to people that are borderline suicidal and stuff, because suicide is never about wanting to die. It's not about wanting to die. It's about not wanting to deal with that pain anymore. This one poem that I have, it's from my 8th grader. It's called No Escape. It was in December, the day I remembered. For some reason, I didn't go to school this day. It was early in the morning when my mom received a disturbing phone call. I just heard her crying, screaming, "No, why?" When she got off the phone, she told me that she had just got done talking to my Aunt Kim. She said my 10-year-old cousin Delonte had died today. I started screaming hysterically, demanding an answer as to how he died. His aunt went downstairs in the morning to wake him up, and he had hung himself in his room. She saw him hanging from a dirty, wet line. He hung himself with a clock cord. While she was telling me the story, big tears fell from her face. Her eyes were completely red. I started yelling and screaming even more, and I wanted to break the mirror. My pain was so hard to explain. I felt like someone stabbed me 1,000,000 times. I wanted to die instantly. Stuff like this breaks my heart, but it always makes me think, how much pain that 10-year-old had been going through to take his life. How much pain his death is going to cause all these people in his life going forward. And who are the people that were contributing to the pain in his life? I think back to high school, some of my most painful memories, outside of what I told you, was when I had an opportunity to stand up for something, for somebody that was getting harassed or bullied, and I didn't take the action. And looking back, it hurts me thinking about that. I had this 3rd grader I was speaking to the other day. This 3rd grader comes up to me and says, "Hey, Mr. Peace, my most painful time in my life," this is a little 3rd grader. His name was Dominic. He said it was 2 years ago in 1st grade. I was on the bus, and this bully turns around and told me I'm never going to have any friends. And then he said, but you know what, Mr. Peace? I said, what? He said, now I have best friends. There's this other story. My friend Dwayne, he was about your age, picked on this one girl day after day after day after day after day after day for like a year or 2 straight in high school. And then 15 years later, when he's out of high school, when he's graduated, he sees her in the local grocery store. And he can't even look at her because of all the guilt he feels inside, because of how he treated her from 15 years ago. And you don't want to be that person. And you don't want to be this other story that I know of this one guy who was a senior in high school working on his motorcycle. It started raining outside, takes it downstairs in the basement to work on it, has something malfunction, it explodes. Every part of his body was burned except the bottom of his feet. And prior to that, he had made it a living to go and talking about other people and their imperfections. And now, himself not being perfect kind of opened his eyes to maybe how he could have treated people before that. Because it only takes a little bit of time where your impact on somebody can be forever, right? So, these are like daily things like that you do on a day-to-day basis as to how you live your life. But what are some like more long-term things? Like how do you want to live your life going forward? I started overhearing some of your dreams that you were talking about when I walked in. How many of you know what you want to be? What do you want to be? Accountant? Yeah. Singer, doctor, I like that, I like that. Yeah, you got your hand up? Say it again. Criminal attorney, I like all those ties, that's cool. And they got hulas, all right, everyone's got their own identity, cool. Yeah, what do you guys want to be? Missionary? Entrepreneur? Anybody else? What do you guys want to be? What about you right there?
Physical therapist.
Physical therapist? Anybody else? Yeah.
English teacher.
English teacher. Yeah, you need that. Oh, yeah, over here. You right there. Yep.
Basketball coach.
Basketball coach? Sweet. I love basketball. All right. Anybody on this side of the room? I don't want to exclude you. Just come through. Oh, what do we got here? All right, thank you. All right. SPKs, I like those too. SPKs are Sour Patch Kids. That's an abbreviation. So, what do you guys want to be? Orthopedic surgeon. What about you guys? What do you want to be? Missionary? You guys are good note takers. Oh, it's starting to get sour. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, all these are big aspirations. These are all big dreams, right? Big aspirations, right? Here's the scoop. I'll be talking to like 5 and 6-year-olds, right? And every hand in the room is up instantly when I ask them what they want to be when they get older. And they want to be entrepreneurs, rocket scientists, basketball players, basketball coaches, anything under the sun, musician, artist, whatever it is. They want to be everything, right? Then I ask them a follow-up question. I asked them, how many of you already believe that you're that? That you're an accountant, that you're a doctor, that you're an English teacher, missionary? How many of you believe that you're already an orthopedic surgeon, a basketball coach? And you know what? Every hand in the room is still up, high as the sky. They all believe that they're already that in their minds. And when I talk to middle schools, high schools, colleges, groups of adults, fewer hands go up, knowing what they want to do. And fewer hands stay up when I ask them, how many of you believe that you're already that? Some people get told that you're just not good enough, be realistic, that's not going to make any money. And some of these dreams get swept under the carpet, right? And I'll be asking adults sometimes not, what do you want to be, but what did you want to be? I remember it clear as day, right? When I decided that I wanted to speak to youth as my life choice, as my career. And I remember getting back from this workshop to really open my eyes to some of my qualities and some of my potential. And I sat down next to my mom and dad. Dennis and Mary. Excuse me. I sat down next to Dennis and Mary. And I remember looking my dad in the face, in the eyes. Put my hand on his knee. I did it. All right. Thanks for I know where I'm at, but it'll be a couple more minutes, okay? So, I looked at him and I said, hey, I love you. I love you. I love you. That's what I said. But listen, I kept repeating it over and over again, like 20 times. And he kept telling me, Mom was like, all right, what do you want? What does he want? Or like, is he on drugs and all this stuff? And I said, no. I just told him I loved him. I loved him. And it was the first time in my life at age 22, that I really, for the first time, told my dad that I loved him. And I just told my parents, because they're asking me 21 questions, like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to do that? I said, hey, I don't know. I don't know, but I know this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me come alive. And I got to try it. I got to pursue it. And at first, they were against me, They were all like, hey, I don't know about this, I don't know about this. And now they're some of my biggest supporters. And it's so great to have your blood behind you and supporting you and in your corner for what you do. But sometimes it's not always the case. Because I know how parents can be, right? And how people in your life can be. They have a big influence on you that you want to see in your corner. I got Korean friends and Indian friends that they pay out-of-state tuition going to U of M, like $40,000 a year, and their parents tell them what they're going to do. They say, you're going to do this and you're going to like it. And they do. They do. Because you know what? At the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and a lot of other top 25 schools in the country, people succeed, even if they don't like it, because they've succeeded their whole life. And all of you guys are success stories, I know that. But you still got to follow what your heart's telling you. Because I remember asking my mom and dad that day, and my aunts and uncles and my grandma and grandpas, what did you want to do with your life? And for 35 years of their lives, they did something that they didn't want to do, that wasn't their complete passion. And I don't fault them or anybody's parents that chose a certain path to do what was best for the family and based on the tools they had. But I'm saying is that if you got this opportunity now at age 16 to start thinking about what you're going to do with the rest of your life, and not necessarily what you want to be, but who you want to be. Because it wasn't until I asked myself who I wanted to be for this planet, for my community, for my country, for all that stuff, that I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I've always known that I love speech class, I love connecting with people through my heart, through humor, through music, but I didn't know that this was like the path. So all of you can start to think about it. What's the opposite of success? Wrong. Opposite of success. Never trying, quitting. Yeah. Thank you. I was thinking about going like a rock. I already did that. I was thinking about going a bow or something, but we just did the standard. Okay. Quitting. I'll tell you what, I failed a lot in my life. And a lot of famous people have failed in my life. And that's what makes them stronger. So you gotta try things, If you don't know what it is that you want to do yet, that's okay. Something I often tell people in my life, people are still trying to figure out what it is that really gets at them, tugs at their heart chords. I ask them to think about what angers you, what makes you mad, what injustice in the world just makes you go, ugh, right? Because what angers you, what pisses you off, it might just be what you're being called to be on this planet, what you're being called to do. So think about that. And think about this. Anybody got Facebook? F-book? Okay. So, I do too. But every day on Facebook when I log on, I see status updates. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored with a capital B. I'm all this stuff, And I'm like, I don't have time to be bored because I'm so on fire for all these great things in my life. I don't have time to be bored. But yet I see all these people, these updates, and I think to myself, I go to these schools, right, and they bring me in to talk about suicide and violence and bullying, teen pregnancy, all these crimes, all these negative, destructive habits. And I tell them, those are not the issues in my mind. Those are just symptoms and byproducts of bigger root causes, bigger root issues, being people that don't have a sense of purpose in their life. People that are just going through the motions in their life. Because if you got something that you wake up every morning for, and every fiber of your being is 100% alive, if you have that, You don't have time for these other abusive things in your life. And the peer pressures are always going to be there. They're always going to be there. But if you're so focused and so driven on your dreams, you're not going to have time for that stuff. Something to think about. In my heart's where it started. Flame retarded. But the flame couldn't escape a toxic work environment. Backs tensed up and getting tighter by the second. Second guessing this career path where I've invested so much of my time and my energy into. Busting my body just so I could fill the shoes of others in my life and the dreams they had for me. But how could I if they didn't really make me happy? Because I wasn't. Cubicle walls kept closing in. Feeling claustrophobic, like it would never end. In this steady state of exasperation, being corroded by a chronic irritation. I knew something had to give, just didn't know when. And knew I didn't want to die with the music left within. Because that's got to be life's greatest tragedy. So all I could think about was the day that I'd be able to scream that now I'm finally free, being who I want to be. This here is me, see? Spirit's flowing inside of me, yet I'm finally free. You can feel it through my body, every artery, and every fiber of my being. Yeah, I'm finally free. That's my story of kind of my transition into doing what I love for my life. I worked 4 jobs. I worked 90-hour weeks. I was at an auto supplier for 5 years. Like they said, I got my 2 degrees from U of M, Econ and Spanish. Got my Master of Business Administration, Wayne State University. But my heart wasn't there. I was living someone else's dreams for me. And it was the hardest decision of my life to make that leap of faith, to go after my dreams. But now, for how fulfilled I am, for how fulfilled I am, that's really all that matters. It's really all that matters. Yeah. It's beautiful, actually. It's beautiful. So, talking about who you want to be. You guys got some huge, huge aspirations. We're talking about passion. All of you guys got something inside you. All of you guys got something to offer to this planet. Bottom line, though, is unless you can see your worth inside, it's not going to matter. Unless you can understand your gifts and your talents and your abilities, it's really not going to matter. How many of you guys have ever seen a rainbow before? Okay. Well, let me tell you something. When I was 23, I decided that I wanted to see what was at the end of the rainbow. Yep. So, I'd start driving, I see this rainbow, it's raining, okay? Start driving. I get to the end of it, and yeah, I'm expecting lucky, and there's Lucky Charms, and a pot of gold, some horseshoes, clovers, and balloons. But it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I get there, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm like, okay, that's great, cool. This is the end of the rainbow. All right, okay, I feel it. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice from behind me. It was like, yo, Kevin. I turn around. It's Will Smith. Will Smith. I'm like, Will, what are you doing here, Will? Oh my gosh, yeah, Independence Day. Oh my, Ben in Black. Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, Ali. Okay. How's Jada? Yeah, the Karate Kid. I saw your son in that. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it. Wax on, wax off, Will. Yeah, okay. He's like, yo, Kevin. I'm like, how'd you know my name, Will? I'm Big Willie style. I just do. I just know your name. I'm getting genuine, all right? I'm like, all right. Thanks, bro. So, he says to me, he's like, yo, if you have a dream, you have to protect it. And he knew I was going to be speaking to you all today up at Northwood University. So he's like, you got to tell these people something for me, man. I said, I will. I will, Will. No pun intended. And he's like, yo, at the end of a rainbow, yeah, there's some Skittles and some Snicker bars. Because if you're hungry, why wait to do something in your life? But more importantly, the rainbow, the double rainbow, whatever you want to call it, the double rainbow guy. It's all there. This passion, this color, this life. And tell these students today that no one should ever tell them they can't do something, that they're not good enough. Because all of them have extreme potential. And all of them got that same power to impact a life forever. Like some of these stories I was telling you earlier. And then Will just like evaporated in front of me. I'm just trying to grab him, like, Will, no, wait, Will. And he left me. But then I heard another voice. Hey, Kevin, turn around. Denzel Washington. I'm like, Denzel, what? Are you kidding me, Denzel? Oh my gosh, that is, I don't know what to say, man. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, end of a rainbow. Wow, Denzel, okay, all right. So, Denzel, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Remember the Titans? Anybody? Yeah. One of my faves. There's a scene in there where they're on the field of Gettysburg, and they're running in the morning, like in the AM, and they get there, everyone's like panting, like out of breath, and he stops on the field of Gettysburg, right? And he says this to them. He asks them, does anybody know what this place is? This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here was painted red, bubbling with blood. Young boys, smoking hot lead pouring right through their bodies. Listen to their souls, man. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family. You listen, and you take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed just like they are. And what this reinforces and what this tells me is that if we can't see past a lot of the curtains that we put up in our lives, between other people in our lives, if we can't do that and can't see the worth in other people, can't see the hot chocolate in them, and we can't see that in ourselves, I don't know if life's even worth living, you know? It's like you need to see that power and feel it inside, in your core, in your heart, everything. My sister Hillary, she's done some modeling before. She gets her good looks from her brother. But anyways, she's done some modeling. I remember this one time I was talking to this one girl when I was still in college. I was talking to her, and my sister was with me and kind of like overheard what was going on. But this girl had a lot of self-esteem issues, you know. She couldn't really see the beauty inside of her. And I just was like trying to encourage her and say, you know, that I really believe in her and everything like that, and help her make it through this tough time. And I got in the car with my sister, and I just started to kind of jokingly say to Hillary, I was like, you know, it's got to be so easy for you, you know, to meet guys and just, you know, I mean, everybody wants to talk to you, have a date, whatever it is, you know. And she started crying. Started crying. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, Kevin, you don't know how hard it is for me. You know, I got friends in my life around me, some of my friends that are borderline starving themselves just so they can kind of look like me, exercise until they pass out, just so they can kind of look like me. And I feel all this pressure every time I go out with them, because people want to talk to me before they want to talk to them. And she said, it's so hard for me to meet somebody that likes me for me, that looks past the exterior looks inside my heart. It's so hard. I never thought about that until that time. I had this 8th grader that I taught. All my 8th graders that I teach at my church, I give them all their own nicknames. That's just how I roll. And I gave this guy a nickname Golden. Because the first day of class, he's like, I can't see any gold in me. I can't see any worth in me. So I kept repeating it over and over again, Golden, Golden, Golden. Right? I was at this workshop. 50 people, 50 strangers. It was a 3-day workshop down in Toledo, Ohio, a couple of years ago. Is that where we're at? Shout out to Toledo? Okay, right there. Yeah. Toledo, Ohio. 25 men, 25 women. And after 3 days of getting to know each other, like spilling our guts to each other, just seeing all the worth inside of everybody, all the gold inside of everybody, right? We get to the last day and they're asking these questions to us, have you guys been through this? Have you guys done this? And people are standing up if they feel like that. If it relates to them. And they answer this question. How many of you have thought about committing suicide? How many of you have thought about committing suicide? Thank you. And out of 50 people, right? I'm the only one who did not stand. And this is after 3 days of getting to know these people and seeing all their talents and gifts. And I just started bawling. I started crying again because I'm like, how could any of them even contemplate wanting to take their life? But now you see, all the pressures of being a teenager, of just growing up in the society and media, everything around you, the social media. I can totally see it. I was looking for my birth certificate the other day at my parents' place, and I found it. And you know what? I started thinking about all of you here today, and a lot of the people that I speak to, and I found my birth certificate. And I held it in my hands, and I just realized that every one of you has one of these. And all these birth certificates, I just can't even imagine, like, when your parents held it, or like the doctor, whoever it is, and they held it in their hands, and they're like, who is this person going to be here? Who are they going to be for this planet? What are they going to do? What are they going to give back? And I started crying again. I cry a lot. Tears are strength, though. Okay? Remember that. And I remember this one time I was at my friend's place in Kalamazoo, and he had this family over, this mom and her 3 kids, and they're struggling. She's working 3 jobs, trying to support them. They're wearing like really shabby clothes. And we started playing ponies together. All right? I don't know if you guys ever played ponies, but I have. Okay? And we're playing ponies, and there's like a candle on the kitchen sink, so that's like the fire. And we're going, trying to keep the ponies warm. We put napkins over them so they stay warm. That's like their blanket. Okay? And I just turned to her and I'm like, just off the top of my head, I'm like, hey, what do you want to be when you get older? What do you want to be when you get older? And this girl's like 5, playing ponies. She said, I want to be a princess. I want to be a princess. And I'm looking at her in these dirty clothes, and I'm looking at her mom and their situation. And yeah, I started crying again. Because I told her, kind of fighting back some tears, I said, yeah, you're going to be a princess. And every girl deserves to be a princess, right? Every girl deserves to have that dream fulfilled. Every guy deserves to be a prince. Everybody deserves that. Let me show you something. Hula people. If you guys can stand up and come near me. 5, 4. 3. There's hulas back there. I don't see you. Come on. Hulas. 3. 2. 1.5. 1 1/4. 1. 0. Gosh, you just made it. Thank you guys. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of. Has everyone ever seen that Will Ferrell skit, like with Blue Oyster Cult? Yeah, where he's like, explore the space. I want you guys to explore the space here. Okay? Really explore the space. So spread out so you guys are like an arm length away or something like that. Okay, explore the. There we go. All right, just go. Good. All right, so. Make sure you're not like touching anybody or he's hitting too hard, okay? Like that. So your feet are going to stay in the same spot, okay? Got it? And your arms are out. I'm going to teach you guys how to duck. Teach you how to. All right, I'm just joking. But what I want you to do, right? I want you to do is keeping your feet in the same spot. You guys at home can try this too. It's okay. But keeping your feet in the same spot. I want you all to spin as far as you can, okay? And remember that spot, or that person, or that dream. Keep it. So, you right there. Yep. Don't move. Yep. No, right there. Yep. Stay right there. All right, so, either way, it doesn't matter what we spend. Just remember that point, okay? Good. Now, keep your feet in the same spot. Put your arms down. You guys can close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Breathe in that HOBY air. Yeah. Smells okay. Smells all right. Now, I want you all to envision, all picture, dream, whatever you want to do, with your eyes closed, okay? Just relax. I want you to all imagine you are some of the most incredible people on the face of this planet. You guys can high jump over buses. You guys can run 1-minute miles. You guys can run 2-second 100-yard dashes. You guys can long jump 50 feet. You're some of the most amazing, spectacular human beings on this earth. You're amazing just the way you are, and then I saw your face. You're amazing. Breathing all that in. All that I just told you, right? Keeping your feet in the same spot, breathing all that in, your eyes closed. When you're ready, I want you to spin again, go as far as you can. Okay, open your eyes. How many of you guys improved? Raise your hands. All right, you guys can have a seat. Give a round of applause. How am I doing on time, man? Or Steve? Still good? Okay. What just happened? Anybody? They felt like they were better, so they went further. Believed in themselves. Yeah. More self-confidence. I like that poster behind you. I'm gonna start doing that when I go places. I'm gonna put a poster behind myself. All right, so yeah.
I was gonna say they had their eyes closed so they couldn't see things to stop them.
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. What's your name? Ashley. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sometimes when you can't see your limitations, you can go that much farther. Like when you're driving at night, you just kind of like assume the road's going to be there, you know? But you can't see past like 200 yards probably. But you just assume it's going to be there. So sometimes, yeah, when your eyes are closed, in a literal sense or not, you can go farther too in life, right? But really, the only thing that changed is really what I told them. And usually people improve about 25% or so on average from the first time to the second time. The only thing that changed is that they believed in themselves. They had the vision to see that they were better than what they had originally thought. All of you went as far as you could, like, that's as far as I can go, Mr. Peace, I can't go any farther. And I said, just wait a minute, just think about this. And I talked about some great things about you, and you started believing it, and you improved. So if you can see see that worth. All these things, all these passions can become realities. And I'll tell you what else too, everything in your life, and that's the beauty of life, everything is a choice. Life, to me, it's 1% what happens to you, and 99% how you react to it. 1% what happens, and 99% how you react to it. And all of you, this is also the beauty of it, all of you have the choice to break whatever cycle in your life that you don't want for your family, that you don't want for your kids, that you don't want for your life. I'm not coming here today trying to pretend that I know what goes on behind closed doors. I'm not. Because I don't. But I'm saying that all of you got that opportunity, that choice to break whatever cycle in your life that you don't want. To make divorce not the norm. To make abuse not the norm. To make living your dreams the norm. You guys all have that. And whatever happens to you, because nothing's going to hit as hard as life. Nothing. Whatever happens to you, know that somebody else is in a similar situation or has a similar struggle, and that you can get through anything. I knew this story. This guy named Tony. 6'2", 270, big dude, right? From Detroit. He was riding his bike home one day through some rival gang territory. These guys jumped him, took him in the alley, beat him with cinder blocks, baseball bats, spray painted his eyes so he couldn't see this happening, stabbed him, shot him, and left him to die. Somebody walked by the alley, called 911. They rushed him to the hospital. He died twice on the way there, but they revived him. And he lived. And from that day on, after he healed, he chose to start talking to youth about gang violence and do something positive with his life. You know this other story? 2 high school students, Olympic caliber athletes. Both were high school wrestlers and brothers. One got diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, which basically destroys your central nervous system. There's no cure yet, so you die within about 1 or 2 years, right? But one brother got diagnosed his junior year, and the other brother watched him wither away to nothing. This muscular guy just withered away to nothing. And the night of his funeral, he downed the 5th of vodka, got behind the wheel of a car, started driving opposite way down traffic, hit a car, spun off into a telephone pole, but he lived. And from that day on, he made a vow that his brother's death would not be in vain. And he started speaking about his story. I got a friend, his buddy died. His buddy died on the final ride on his motorcycle. He was going to sell it that night. Took his motorcycle for one last ride. Didn't wear his helmet. Gust of wind took him, going a little bit too fast. Had to hit a tree. And his buddy died. He started doing heroin and OxyContin. You name the drug, he started doing it. But eventually, he chose a better path for his life, where he stopped doing that and started talking about his friend's death to other people and inspiring them, so it wasn't in vain. I got a friend, her dad. His dad was an alcoholic. Used to beat him and his brothers and his wife every night. His 2 brothers followed the same path. They're both alcoholics. They both abused their spouses. But he chose a better path. A path towards peace. My story. Been held up at gunpoint. Was diagnosed with hepatitis C in 2008. It's inflammation of the liver. There's no cure for it. A and B, there's vaccines. It was just like a freak thing that happened. I went through treatment in 2009 to get the levels down to a non-traceable level, which they're at. But 2009 was the hardest year on this planet for me physically. I lost 40 pounds in a month. Was borderline anorexic. Was in and out of ER all year. Took 6 pills a day, 1 shot a week, for 52 weeks. And it was tough. But all these things in my life that have happened to me, happened to my friends, you always got a choice of whether you view it as something that gets you down and keeps you down, or it's more fuel to your fire, fuel for further progress, a source for advancement, positive or negative, you view it as a blessing. And I view this in my life as a blessing because it brought the people in my life closer to their faith, closer together. So I still viewed it as an opportunity. You see, my energy's being threatened from the hatred that surrounds me. But I won't let it keep me down because I'm too full of tranquility and peace. Hence the name, homie. That's why I bear this torch. The flame began at birth, born March 3rd, so I can march forth. Into the troubled souls of teens that feel they have no meaning, pumping their hearts chock full of vision till they start seeing. That purpose-driven work gives rise to greater purpose. And what's underneath the skin's what counts, not on the surface. Now, despite what y'all might think, life's not all about the cheddar, Bob. I learned that firsthand that night me and my friends got robbed. 2 pistols cocked in the air, your whole life flashed before your eyes. Then you have 2 choices: forgive or remain full of despise. But I forgave them and prayed for them because they knew not what they do. And because hate in your heart will consume you too. You see, peace doesn't mean you won't find violence, trouble, or noise. It means in the midst of all that stuff, you still find calm, that inner joy. And I knew this rabbi who went to a cancer institute. Everyone that had cancer there, he put a dot on a big white piece of paper, right in the middle, a dot. And he said, picture your cancer like that dot. And everything else that's white are all the great things in your life. Your family, your friends, your dreams, your passions. It's your angle of vision. Your vision. Everyone that had their vision here and improved. It's your angle of vision. How you approach things. Because all of it's a choice. You guys close your eyes for a second. And just point to yourself. Point to yourself. You can open them, take a look around. Where's everybody pointing? Most people. Heart. That's right. Point at your heart. And you know what? Sometimes that's all that some people remember on you is your heart. And the Institute of Heart Math, they've proven that your heart has its own cognitive process separate from the brain. So when you get like those vibes, like when you walk into somewhere, you get like the vibes, there's like tension, there's not. There's a lot of good positive energy. That's the vibe I got here. All those olives on people's heads and all this stuff. Some good vibes. You feel it with your heart. And so it's saying that your heart could really be following it when people say that. It's cliche, right? But it could really be following it for whatever you want to do in your life. Dakota, can I get your help for a second? Okay. I need you to yes, stand there and look good. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so, and mustache. Yep. All right. So you stay there, Dakota. And ask him to move. It's okay. Stay there. Okay. And then me, I'm going to go up on this table. Okay, please don't break on me. Oh, yep. I knew that was coming. So, here's what I want you to do. Okay? On the count of 3. Okay? Mustache man, move over closer to the basketball person. Thank you. Okay, great. Count of 3. Hula the lady in the turquoise down there? Yep. Pick up that hat. See that hat over there? Okay, yeah. All right. Put that on your head. Thank you. Okay, great. Now stay just like that. Great. All right, so count of 3. All of us are going to get to that hat as soon as we can. As quickly as we can. Okay? All right? So I want your best effort. Try not to hurt too many people to get there. But you need to do what you got to do to get there, okay? What if I gave my whole talk like this? Wouldn't that be sweet? Okay. I'm Mr. Peace. All right, 1, 2, 2.5. Just stay together, you're gonna jump. All right. 3. I actually meant this hat, so I won. It's okay. Yeah, I like this hat. So, what I was trying to just prove there, okay, because all of you going forward in your life, I'm going to be serious with the hat on. All of you going forward in your life, you're going to have a decision between a couple goods. Like being a missionary, being a surgeon, being a musician. Like, a lot of these paths could bring you some fulfillment, and a lot of these paths could be using your gifts. And you know, I've had a lot of those moments in my life where I got a decision between 1 or 2 or 3 goods, and they're all good things. But ultimately, I got to say, what's my heart telling me? And this was an example here that, you know, there's times in our life that end result, that end goal, there could be 1 or 2 or 3 ways to get there. And just to have enough discernment in your life and be open and flexible to things changing, because a lot of times they change. Like every 6 months, some of my goals change, but the end vision doesn't. So just to kind of be open to that. And all of you right now here today, you're doing something that a lot of your peers your age are not doing. So many people can talk the talk, but a lot of people don't take action. And all of you being here expressing your interest to better your school environments, to better your communities, to better your lives, you're all taking action. There's this girl, she came up to me at one of my talks, she was 13. She's like, "Hey, Mr. Peace, I'm 13. I said, "Okay." That's great, I didn't know that. And then she said, "Mr. Peace, what can I do at like 13 to really make a difference in this world?" So I told her the story about the time that I went to the bathroom. Yeah. I went to the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror. I was washing my hands. Please wash your hands, guys. So, looking in the mirror, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this ladybug. Okay? This ladybug. And all of a sudden, it started speaking to me. I know, I got deer, and a lot of things speak to me in my life. Will Smith, yeah. So, all of a sudden, like a ladybug, you guys ever seen Lion King? Movie Lion King? Remember that part, for those of you that have seen it, when Rafiki, the monkey's talking to Simba, and he's looking at his reflection in the water, and Rafiki's like, "Simba, look closer." And so that's what I started doing. So I'm looking closer to this mirror, into the mirror, and all of a sudden I hear this sound. Gonna make a change for once in my life. Don't feel real good. And I said, "Oh!" So I got out of that bathroom. I'm like, "Come on!" And as I told this 13-year-old this story, she was really scared, but story. I said, it's all about making the change and having the change start with you and you and you. That it starts with you, that if you want to better your school, and your community, and your family, and your state, and your country, and your world, it first starts with you. And how do you do it? I mean, food drives, clothing drives, spending time with the elderly, spending time with the sick, helping raise money for the tsunami in Japan, for people across the world, for Red Cross, for sometimes just being a friend to somebody, just listening to somebody. Some of those examples earlier, just showing that you care. It's how you make a difference in this world. And this famous psychiatrist, Dr. Carl Menninger, he was once asked, what would you prescribe somebody that was dealing with depression? And all the reporters are getting ready to write down the dosage, the prescription, right, like the medication. And he told them that he would tell the person, him or her, to lock their door behind them, leave their house, go across the street, across the railroad tracks, find somebody in need, and help that person. Because a lot of those symptoms, the problems that people think are the real problems, depression, it's just people that haven't found that sense of purpose in their life. They haven't found that connection. Sometimes it just takes one person to show them the way. How many of you guys take showers? Oh, good. Oh, you guys picked them right this year. These guys are hygienic. I knew I smelled some Irish Springs and some herbal essence when I walked in here. Oh yeah. I don't use herbal essence. Well, only on special occasions. But excrement. Okay, all right, I do. Sometimes I use excrement. I do like that. But I'm more like Dove. I like Dove. This is supposed to be on my skin. Anyways, okay, we're getting sidetracked. Sorry. So, shower. I was in the shower a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I was in the shower. And let me reenact to you. Name? Jake. So, in the shower. Okay? Yep. In the shower. Thank you. Okay. I have a routine. Whoa, good happened. I was going to take this step, but I didn't, and so I just stopped. Okay. So, in the shower, I go into my routine, right? And all of a sudden, I hear the toilet flush. And I have like the well water, so it gets like really hot and really cold. So I'm like Michael Jackson and Usher combined, like, whoa, it's hot, whoa, can't get it, whoa. Like that, going back and forth. And in the shower, I'm like, Nick, that's my roommate name, Nick, come on, man, don't be flushing it when I'm in the shower. So I'm like, all right, so I kind of get, out of the cold and whatever again, get back into my shower, into my routine. I hear it flush again. And I'm like, come on, Nick, I'm trying to take a shower here, man, come on. Don't be doing that, don't be playing around. If you do it again, I'm coming out. So, what do you think happens? It flushes again. That's right. So I said, all right, that's it. Getting out of here. I'm like, Nick, where are you at, man? Come on. This ain't funny. Get over here. I'm sick of this. I'm looking around my apartment. Look around. And Nick's nowhere to be found. I'm like, what? I'm like, looking for his keys. His keys are gone. His car is gone. I'm like, I don't get it. So I'm about to head back into the shower, into the bathroom. I looked to the right one last time, nothing. I looked to the left, and perched over yonder is my pet, a cat, bulldog. I said, no, couldn't be. Just about to get back into the shower. And then I hear this raspy voice. says, Kevin, it was I, hold on. I said, hold on, what? You speak? Yes, my son. I said, hold on. What? Like, why? Why would you do something like that? I was trying to prove a point, my son. I said, what type of point? I mean, couldn't you have done it some other way, Bulldog? He said, no, my son. That way was more funny. I said, Bulldog. 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 Then he said, what did you want to do as soon as it got really hot? You wanted to go back to where it was nice and warm, right? Just like a happy medium. And what did you want to do when it was really cold? I wanted to go back to where it was just right. Like baby bear in his porridge. Okay? I just thought about that on the fly. So, yep. So, Bulldog said, when it comes to your life and the legacy that you're going to leave, you need to treat other people the way that you want to be treated. Treat others with respect. And I was trying to make a point that there's a concept called 50% friends. That you're either 100% friends with that person and on fire and hot, or you're 0% friends. But when you're halfway friends, in the middle, which I used to be to so many people in high school, because I was that chameleon, right? Changed who I was around different groups I was around. That's when a lot of pain happens. A lot of rumors happen, a lot of bullying, a lot of bad memories. When you could have included somebody and you didn't, because you're too worried about yourself. So he said either you're hot or you're cold. And how many guys live in Michigan? I know all of you do, that's like a rhetorical question, but I've asked it anyway. But in the winter months, the heater goes on, right? Like the heater goes on, and like you're gonna get dressed right before school and stuff. And the heater's on, you're like, oh yeah, oh yes, come on. And then it goes off, like, no, come back on, please. How about all you ladies, some of the ladies out there? Okay, you're like on the beach, and you're on the beach laying there on your deck, and the sun's out, and you're sipping a tea, and you're reading a book, and all that stuff. You're like, oh yeah. Soaking up the sun, right? And then the sun goes away, and you're like, no, oh, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind the tree. Kim really wants to play with you, so please come out so she can play with you. Oh, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on Danny. And we know that happens, right? Right? Bulldog was just trying to prove a point. You treat people the way you want to be treated. You get a lot out of life. You find the worth inside of them. You get a lot out of life. And you treat everybody else in your life like the feeling you get when you're younger when you had a McDonald's Happy Meal. I contributed McDonald's Happy Meals to high street people. That you get that toy. And how good you feel inside and happy. That's how you want to make people feel in your life. The golden arches, like the golden rule, right? It's a reminder. So think about that every time you pass a McDonald's or go to a McDonald's. Okay? And tell the people at McDonald's that too. Get on the plate on the top of the cage or on a chair and say, hear ye. This Happy Meal is how you should treat other people in your life. And they'll be like, yeah, that'd be sweet. Thank you so much. So, I want to leave you guys a couple more thoughts. I need 2 volunteers. Wait, how come you went like this and like that? Oh, thank you. Yes, up there. Yep. Yep, come on. Come on up here. And, yeah, the guy that just, and then, yep, that's you. Okay, great. Awesome. And all the ones that I didn't include, I'm sorry. Okay, I just, sorry. I'll get you one. So, what I have here in my possession is a bowling ball, Richard, a bowling ball, and, oh, here it is, and a balloon. So, I've compared all of you, people in general, to bowling balls and balloons. Yeah, I have. And, what's your first name? Liam? Like Liam Neeson? From Taken and Unknown? Yeah, okay, great. Great. So, bowling ball, balloon. All right, here's what's going to happen, okay? You guys are going to have to go, can't do it like this, but here's what you're going to do. Like your feet are going to have to go like that, like backwards. Okay? Great. Go like, up. Good, great. So, I need Richard and Liam to come over here by me. Great. Okay, keep coming. Okay, good. All right, now listen, I want you guys to face this way. Face towards Connor, towards Jared over here. And on the count of 3, so you gotta come a little bit this way. Okay? This way, okay. What's your average bowling score? You good bowler? Are you serious? Oh, I don't know what. You're gonna. All right. I hope you sign the liability. Okay. So, what I want you to do, okay? When you're ready, take a deep breath. Yeah. I want you all to throw those as far as you can. Okay. Now don't throw that one. Like, yeah, just like roll that one. Yep. Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's roll that one as far as we can. I told this one girl one time, throw them as far as you can. She shots. It like almost broke the floor. I was like, oh my. All right. So you want to throw as far as you can and roll that one, right? Towards me on the count of 3, okay? Be careful here too. So I mean, probably not like too hard, but you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now which one went farther? Bowling ball. Good. The bowling ball. People that are like bowling balls, give them a round of applause. You guys can have a seat. Thank you so much. People that are like bowling balls for me, they're solid, they got character, they're going to go farther in life when you do throw them. They got morals and principles, and if they get bumped along the way, they're still going to be intact. Even though life hits them, they're still going to be okay, right? Balloons. People that are empty. People that really haven't found that sense of purpose, that sense of worth. People that are just going to go along with the masses, follow the crowds. Those are balloons. And I think about what's going to go farther in life and really how you want to think of yourself as a bowling ball or balloon. I got a couple props here. I know, I had to. It's part of it, it's just part of it, it's part of the talk. I got some props here. And I need some support. Okay, you, somebody raised your hand earlier, over here. Yeah, you, yep, come on up here, yep. All right, you're gonna hold this shirt for me. Thank you. You're gonna hold that for me, okay, yep. Okay, who else is coming for me? Okay, Jake, come on up here. Thank you so much. You didn't have to go that far, so that's great. And I need one other person to hold this for me. Anybody? Going one? Yeah, right there. Yep, here we go. So you guys can spread out a little bit here. What's your name?
Blaze.
Say it again.
Blaze.
Wow, I like that name. Okay, Blaze. Cool. All right, so you gotta hold this so they can see. Okay, that's okay. So I'm gonna go down the line here. These are things that reinforce and really give me more fuel to the work that I do. It's small items like these and tokens of appreciation from students and people that I've had an impact on their life that keeps me going. This right here is a picture of a kindergarten I spoke to in Lansing with these handprints, okay? Finger paint. And they all signed it, the picture of them in the middle says peace in. So I want you all to do some finger paint for me. All right. This is a letter one of my students wrote me. And I'll just read a couple sentences. I knew him. I'm that lucky. He isn't just a guy, he's a good person. He was someone who opened my mind and put a meaning on living. He didn't teach right from wrong, he showed me, through words, actions, and in the silence. He puts peace in the world, he's a one and only, a messenger, sent to guide us through our life here on earth. He taught many who didn't know. He showed many who didn't know where to go. He allowed the peace to flow. And this is a shirt, just speaking at an alternative school the other day in Heartland, Michigan. They gave me this. Legacy High School. This was like their senior picture that someone drew. And, you know, I just keep these types of things with me. And these hands that Jake are holding here, they're these wooden hands. Baby, no. Nice thing. We're both holding together like that. And I got them from one of my friends who said I was like his helping hands. He was going through some tough times in his life. Having a lot of suicidal thoughts. He lost his job. Someone close in his life. School was rough. A lot of things going bad. And I was like his helping hand. So it's a reminder that that's what I want to be for this world, and every day try to give something back, you know, to be somebody else's helping hands. See, because all you get is one life, 2 nights, to make things right. Whatever happens, keep my name out the limelight. Contemplate the message, listen to the insight. Then do what you can to minimize the blight of hunger, sanitation, and poverty that exist. The mom with 3 jobs, no spouse, and 4 kids. Issues intricate, people being petulant. See the subject but pay no attention to the predicate. Living check to check, got you feeling mad spent. Mental rents only going to fuel corporate jets. You gotta lay down the fears and embrace the cause. Nonviolently challenge all the norms and all the laws. Whether you think you can or can't, you're still gonna be right. So why not go down without at least putting up a fight? You get this one life, so let it be an offering for selflessly serving people and not serving things. The time is now to step into, to breathe into, the blossoming genius inside each and every one of you. And I'm behind you, ready to move this much needed peace, to rise against the rising so-called powers that be. All you get is one life. And I'm one man. So are you. So is my dad. Yep. And I'll tell you what, for all the great you've already done in your life, you're just in store for that much more. Because I felt your hearts today, and I was touched by that. I felt the energy. I know big things are on the horizon for all of you. I just finished my first hip-hop CD. It's called Peace Be With You. So, got some hard copies here, and some cards if you want to stay connected or ever want to reach out to me. I'm only a F-book message away. And, you know, I've been devoting my life to peace, really. You know, I quit my job last July to pursue my dreams. And it's been tough, you know, trying to deal with the financial situation here and there, but it's something that, again, just makes you so alive and makes life worth living so much that you're willing to do that and willing to take the risk. And I hope all of you can do that and have the courage to take the risk. And if you need somebody to believe in you, because Because it took one person telling me I'm the speaker and leader that I wanted to be, and I was off and running. If you need somebody to believe in you, I'll be that person. Let these, what do you guys call the camp counselor people? Geos? Let these Geos be the people that believe in you. Yep. The Geo Joes. Geo Joes. Geos. JFK. JK. Okay. LOL. Yeah. Okay, so, thanks for being, actually, I was going to send you guys down like about 5 minutes ago, but I just decided, what the heck, let's leave them up here, you know? But thank you so much. Give a round of applause. All right, we got some time for hip-hop track? Sure. We got some time still? Okay. So I've been doing a little spoken word throughout the talk, and one of my passions. But I wanted to maybe end with like a song or two, you know, just to kind of get you guys pumped up and fired up and feeling alive. So my boy, DJ Steve, over here, is going to spin that track one time. Yeah. Is there anybody else that wants to, anybody likes to dance? Yeah? If you like to dance, you can get up on your seat. I got some hats. You guys want to put on a hat? Does anybody have a hood? Is anyone wearing a hood in here? Or are we all hoodless? Oh yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, you guys can, you want to... Gotta get in my zone. So yeah, you guys can try one of these on. Okay. Anybody like shades? Put some shades on. Got shades. John Lennon shades. Those are my John Lennon shades. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Anybody? Here we can go on this side. What else? All right. Somebody can read my towel too. My head person in the background. Okay. Yep. Sorry, but if you don't take it, watch out for this bowling ball. Okay. How we doing? We got.
Try to walk and spin.
What are we feeling? Let's see. Track. Something's not good. Let's go track. So for this one, you guys gotta get up. You guys gotta get up. You guys gotta, you got like any cell phones? I'm so grateful to be free, and here at HOBY. Yeah. Here we go. Oh yeah, I'm feeling that one. Oh, I got, alright, you like that? Yeah. I got the started in the depths of my soul. It's making that view, yo, I'm so close, I can almost taste it. Look at me, mouth in my back, my place. Since you bring that setting new precedence. You can take it off and then you can have a minute.
I'm sure that many of us, including myself, have been touched by your speaking. And we'd like